and saying, wow, these are really good investments. I got to get on this. I'm excited about this guy. Let me buy off of 1/8 inning home run. That is ridiculous to me. Welcome, everyone, to Dinging Corners, a baseball podcast powered by Slab Stocks. I'm your host, Nate, and today we're going to talk about 3 guys that were heroes of the divisional round series for baseball. So we had the wild card series, right? That was kind of a weird scenario where the games didn't really feel like they meant anything. But then we got into the divisional series, and we had some pretty good games. We had the Rays and Yankees, which is going to come up in this. We had the Dodgers and Padres, which is going to come up in this. I was going to say one more, but 2 of the guys that we're going to talk about are on the Rays. So those are the 2 important series that we're going to discuss today. And it's 3 specific players we're going to be talking about. 3 kind of what I would call heroes of the series, but very different ways about which they got there. And those 3 guys are Randy Arozarena, Michael Brosseau. I should have looked up how to say his name. And Will Smith of the Will Smith of the Dodgers, not Will Smith of the Giants, now the Braves. That's the pitcher. Will Smith, the catcher of the Dodgers, Michael Brosseau, and Randy Arozarena of the Tampa Bay Rays. All heroes in their own rights for the series, and all got there in different ways. And then we're going to look at their prices and the card sales and stuff, and see what we can see there. I know they're not major names here, but I do think there's probably some good information in here that you can take home and remember for your investing purposes. So please stay with me and give me an open ear, so to speak, and we can learn together. So Randy Arozarena is the first guy I want to talk about. He hit in the 2 series this year in Toronto, 2 games, 4 hits, 2 doubles, and a triple, no home runs. He hit 500 with a 556 on base and 1,000 slugging, which was good for 1,556 OPS. And then against the Yankees, 5 games, 21 plate appearances. He had 8 hits, 3 home runs, 421 average, 476 on base, and an 895 slugging. A really, really, really good series from Randy Arozarena. If you don't know who this guy is or hadn't heard of him before this series, he was traded to the Rays in the Cardinals deal this offseason, where Jose Martinez and Matthew Liberatore were the main pieces. So Jose Martinez was the outfielder that doesn't really have an outfield spot, but a good bat for the Cardinals. They traded him to the Rays for a package that was highlighted by Matthew Liberatore, the pitching prospect that was drafted 15th overall back in 2018 by the Rays. Really, really, really good pitching prospect. And Randy Arozarena was mostly just a throw-in, so to speak. Not a throw-in because the Rays knew what they were doing, but he was definitely not the focal point of the trade for either side. And yet here he is, and we may look back in 5 years and say, this is Randy's trade, not this is the Liberatore trade or the Martinez trade. He had 1,022 OPS this year, which was good for a 176 WRC plus. Both those numbers really amazing. Obviously, small sample size, but 1,000 OPS for a rookie, really good, and a 176 WRC plus, also really good. That's 76% better than league average. He had a 359 isolated power, which is really nice to see. He's finally getting to his power. He's always a good hitter in the minors, but it was always the question of, will he get to his power or not? He answered that pretty dramatically. He got to his power in September. He hit 7 home runs. Didn't have any home runs in August, but hit 7 home runs in September and has continued it in the postseason with 4 now because he hit 1 last night. I'm recording this on 10/12, which is Monday. And on Sunday night, he hit a home run against the Astros, and they won 2-1. Big time home run there. And so I don't know when this video will come out, but these numbers are what he's done so far. He's got 4 home runs in the postseason, continued hitting with power. Now let's look at his sales. Topps Chrome Rookie Auto, that's the card I took here. And on September 1st of this year, his Topps Chrome Rookie Autos were going for $10 to $15. And this is before he got hot in September. So August, he didn't have a very good month. Remember that. And so his prices are $10 to $15. Not huge prices, but not bad either. And then October 1st, you're looking $30 to $40 for so a month later, October 1st, we're looking $30 to $40 after his hot month of September for his Topps Chrome rookie auto. And this is his base variation, not purple, not blue, not any of that, just base. And then nowadays, the last one on bids went for $105. So from $40 October 1st, now it was October 12th. The last one on bids went $105. Most of them are going for around $90 on buy it nows or best offers, all being popped for $90. Huge increase from September 1st, a month and a week and a couple days ago. You're talking about 10 times in the price. But from September 1st, 10 times in the price. From October 1st, you're talking about at least doubling it, almost tripling it in price, which is pretty incredible to see for Randy Arozarena. Now, remember that. Tripling in price right now. Remember that. We're going to cover the next two guys, and we're going to come back and talk about the whole trend in general. Before we get into the meat of this podcast / video, I want to talk to you about what SlabStox has going on recently. And that is the eBay newsletter that Aaron and I send out every single morning. We curate a bunch of different auctions ending that night of players that we enjoy, or we like, or we think are good investment opportunities, and we put them into a list, and we send it out to your email inbox every single morning. You get it. You can click on a link. It brings you right to eBay. You don't have to look up a bunch of different guys every single night. We will do the work for you, and we do it every day, 7 days a week. If you're wondering how to get there, it's easy. You can go to SlabStox.com like we have here. You can go to SlabStox.com, type it in, and then you go down, scroll down halfway down the page, and you've got the Sunday Slab inbox trading trends, and you can put your email in right there. Nice and easy, and a great way to get information about the card market to your inbox every morning. Thank you. Will Smith, the Dodgers catcher, he played 91 games this year. 91 games in the last 2 years, 333 plate appearances, 23 home runs, 11.4% walk rate, 22.2% K rate, and that was good for a 144 WRC plus. A 144 WRC plus is the most by anybody that had a good amount of games. At the catching position, he was definitely the best hitting catcher in baseball the last 2 years. The only person that had a higher WRC plus that played a solid amount of games was Salvador Perez, who played 37 games this year, and he was at 162 WRC plus. And yet, Will Smith beat him in WRC plus this year with 163. So Will Smith's year was better than his this year, and his combined 2 years is the best in baseball, making Will Smith the best hitting catcher in baseball that many people probably are not paying attention to because he's on a Dodger team that is full of really, really interesting, good players. In the playoffs so far, against the Padres, he had 14 plate appearances in 3 games, 5 hits, 2 doubles, hit .455 with a .571 on base and a .636 slugging, which was good for 1,208 OPS. You'll know that those 5 hits all came in one game. Before that point, he had not had a hit against the Padres. All 5 hits came in one game, set a Dodger record. 2 of those were doubles. Very nice game. Of course, that game came on October 8th, and the Topps Chrome and Topps Update, I took both of the Topps Chrome and Topps Update combined. You can go on to eBay. You can look up Will Smith, Topps Rookie, and then in parentheses, you can put Update, or not Topps Update. Topps Update. You can put Update, and then comma, Chrome, and then parenthesis, and you will have just that search. And I took just that entire search of Topps Chrome and Topps Update to see all of his sales, and it has been ridiculous. So let me run through some numbers here. There's been 94 total sales after the 8th, not counting today, the 12th, because I did my notes before this point. And we're talking 52 sales on the 9th, 26 sales on the 10th, 16 sales on the 11th, which is good for 94 total sales. We're not going to cover prices too much. I think it's more interesting along the lines of the amount that's being sold. The same time last month when he had a 980 OPS on the year, so he's still a good player at this point. Not five. He didn't have a 5-hit playoff game, but he's still an incredibly good player. At the same point last month, September 9th through the 11th, he had 34 sales. So it's almost triple this month than it was last month at the same time. And not only that, but September 20th through September 30th, so the last 10 days of the month, the last third of the month, he had 105 sales. Of course, I took out the pick your player sales because I didn't want to go in there and find out if it was the Will Smith from the Braves or Will Smith from the Dodgers, so I just completely scrapped those. So we have 105 sales, and this included his 2 best games of the year, in which he had 2 hits in each game, a walk, and a home run in each game. His 2 best games of the entire year, and that entire stretch, he raised his OPS into the 900s. He was really good for that stretch, and that entire stretch was 105 sales. So these 3 days after his one really good playoff game, 94 sales for an entire 10-game stretch in September, or a 10-day stretch in September when he was really good, 105 sales. I think it's pretty crazy the amount of sales that are going on now when a guy has one good game in the playoffs. Even though he's been really good the last 2 years, it's been the one 5-hit game in the playoffs that have spurred these sales along. Remember that, and we will come back to it at the end, along with the Randy Arozarena price increase. The last guy I want to talk about is Mike Brosseau, if that's how you pronounce his name. If it's not, I am sorry, Mike. Or Michael, if you're looking up his cards on eBay, look up Michael. That's how they're on Topps Update, or Top Series 1 from this year. Now, Michael on the year hit 302 with a 378 on base and a 558 slugging, which was good for a 936 OPS. That is incredibly good. He had 5 doubles, a triple, 5 home runs. A very, very nice year from him all around. In the playoffs against the Yankees, he had 3 games, only 5 at-bats. Had 2 hits, but one of them was the home run, the huge Game 5 8th inning home run to put the Rays up, and eventually they won the game-winning home run there. Just a gigantic home run. Absolutely incredible. So he had a really nice year hitting, and he's had a nice postseason, albeit a very small sample size of only 5 at-bats. Now, what's ridiculous is... Well, actually, I don't want to get into the sales just yet. I want to go over some notes because you're probably saying to yourself, who is Mike Brosseau? And I will tell you, he was undrafted out of Oakland University. Not Oakland University from Oakland, California, but Oakland University from Rochester. But not Rochester, New York, of the 200-some thousand people. Not Rochester, Minnesota, the second most famous Rochester, which has 100-some thousand population. But Rochester, Michigan, which has like 12,000 people in its population. So it's a very ridiculous. Oakland University of Rochester, Michigan gave the Rays Michael Brosseau, who just hit a home run in the 8th inning of a Game 5 against the Yankees, the big rivals in the AL East. He went undrafted out of college, and the Rays just got him, and his first year rookie ball, undrafted rookie ball that summer. Next year, A and A+. Next year, AA. Next year, AAA. And the majors, this year, the majors. So been quite a rise for him. Really incredible. Really kind of nice to see for a Rays team that doesn't have big payrolls, but also kind of frustrating for a Brewers fan, is that they've got good guys all over the diamond. They got former top 100 prospects in like Manny Margot and Hunter Renfroe and Willy Adames. They've got former top 10 picks and like Mike Zunino at catcher. And yet they get these guys like Michael Brosseau, who they just pull off the scrap heap and turn into a serviceable major leaguer. And that is what you need. He's a nice player, a very nice player. He had 840 OPS in college, which is good, not great. He had an 855 OPS in the minors, which is good, not great. And now through the majors in his first 2 years, he's an 843 OPS, which when considering the majors, that's very good. I will take an 843 OPS every day. You would have expected him to get worse. 840 OPS, he goes to the minors. You think he's probably going to get a little worse. He gets a little bit better. And then you're saying, well, if he has an 855 OPS in the minors, he's definitely going to get worse in the majors. Nope. About the same player. He's stayed the same the entire way, which is actually incredible to see. He had a 936 OPS this year, which is really good, but that was really buoyed by a 412 BABIP, which is batting average balls in play, which is absurdly high and unsustainable. So I wouldn't expect that to continue. Now, the reason I bring up all these stats is because of his sales. So I took his Topps Chrome and his Topps Series 1. Again, you can do the same thing. You can look up his name, Topps, rookie, and in parentheses, Series 1, comma, Chrome. And or not parentheses, but the whatever those things are called. 45 sales in the last couple days, or on the 8th, 9th, there was 45 sales, and there were $25 buy it now Topps Chrome autos going, when the day before his big game you could have got them for $8. So we're talking more than triple the price on buy it nows. People were popping them instead of buying them the day before for $8. Now, the reason that's important, and the reason Randy Arozarena's prices are important, and the reason Will Smith's prices are important is because of this. Will Smith was a top prospect, a very good prospect on a very good Dodgers team. He's been very good for years, and yet his prices aren't really moving, but the quantity of cards selling is moving. Randy Arozarena, decent prospect for the Cardinals, interesting at the very least, goes to the Rays, unlocks his power, is now legitimately a good player, but we're seeing his prices go up from $10 September 1st to $105 most recent auction. And then we've got Mike Brosseau, who is a very nice player to have on your team, to fill your team out, a solid hitter. And yet he's the type of player that is nice to have on your team, but not really nice to have in your investment portfolio. He's not the type of guy that's going to become a star. He's not going to instantly become the face of the Rays franchise. And so the money being spent here is absurd to me. The amount of sales is absurd to me. If you're a fan of the Rays and you just want his card, sure. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. And so you're looking at 45 sales for him in the last couple of days and $25 buy it now Topps Chrome autos. Now, the reason all of these are ridiculous is because even though they're very different situations, Randy Arozarena was a good prospect, traded, became a star. Will Smith, very good prospect, probably is a star, undervalued because of the Dodgers. Michael Brosseau, never a star, undrafted free agent out of college, rose his way up in the minors, is now a serviceable major league player, but probably not going to be too much more than that in the long term. And you're watching these prices or the amount of sales go crazy for guys that people weren't paying attention to, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it might be. So my concern is that people are taking the one game, Will Smith, 5 hits, overreacting, buying a ton of cards. Don't. Randy Arozarena, really, really good. Probably going to be a star in the future. I wouldn't be shocked. Don't buy now at $105. And then you have Michael Brosseau, especially good player, has one shining moment, going to be a solid major league player, contributor for a number of years, I presume. But people are actually now spending money on his cards when they normally wouldn't have. And you've got 3 guys, 3 different heroes, 3 different paths to being heroes. One was because of 1 home run. One was because of a 5-hit game. One was because he's been good all playoffs and all season. And you're looking at their prices and you're looking at their sales, and they're just absurd to me. Wait until the offseason. These prices are going to go down. Randy Arozarena has the best chance of keeping around the $90 to $100 mark, but even his prices will go down a bit as people get less excited. Plus, he's got Wander Franco and Vidal Brujan, guys like that coming up in the minors that are going to take some shine away from Randy Arozarena as the star of the Rays and put it on to Wander Franco, Vidal Brujan, guys like that, Roberto Hernandez. And so my biggest concern, and I'm rambling a little bit here, is that people are looking at these one games, these one hit, one game, or one playoffs, one shortened season, and saying, wow, these are really good investments. I got to get in on this. I'm excited about this guy. Let me buy off of 1/8 inning home run. That is ridiculous to me. They're all nice players. They're all heroes of the postseason. They're all bad investments in my mind. Randy Arozarena is a very good player. I wouldn't be shocked if he's a star in the future, but I'm waiting to the offseason to buy him. I'm not buying him at $90 when people are really excited. I'm buying him at $50 when people's excitement wanes next December. So Michael Brosseau, I'm not buying at all. And Will Smith, I would definitely buy for the long term. I think more people will end up realizing that he's a star catcher and the best offensive catcher in baseball. But catchers don't sell very well. he's got a lot of other stars: Corey Seager, Cody Bellinger, Dustin May coming up, and so he's a long-term guy. Michael Brosseau's no. Will Smith's a long-term guy, and Randy Arozarena is buying the offseason. Will Smith's buying the offseason. Michael Brosseau probably don't buy it all. So don't overreact. All I want to do to get to you this podcast is don't overreact to the market. Don't overreact to one 8th inning home run. Don't overreact to one 5-hit game. Don't overreact to a very good postseason and regular season of a shortened season. Please don't do it. There's better buying opportunities out there than these guys right now. Use your money wisely. Thank you for listening to Dinging Corners today, and I will talk to you again next time.